So, you think you know bread in Africa? Picture this, a warm, fluffy loaf, maybe some ajej bread in Nigeria, or a crisp tapalapa in Senegal. It seems simple, right? A humble food for the people. And here's the myth that gets everyone, because it's a staple, selling it is like printing money. You just mix some flour, add water, find a hot oven, and boom, you're the next Dangote of dough. People will line up, cash in hand, begging for a piece of your perfectly browned creation. It's the business plan that writes itself. Or so they say. This beautiful, simple image is what draws so many people in, thinking it's a guaranteed path to riches with minimal effort. But let's get real for a second. That idea is as half-baked as a loaf pulled from the oven too early. The reality is far more complex, a little bit messy, and a whole lot more interesting. Thinking that the bread business is easy money is like thinking you can become a world-class comedian just by telling your dad's favorite knock-knock joke. It doesn't quite work that way. The journey from a sack of flour to a profitable business is a marathon, not a sprint. It's filled with unexpected twists and turns, from sourcing ingredients to fighting for shelf space. It's a business that demands grit, smarts, and an almost supernatural ability to predict the price of wheat. The truth is, the bread business in Africa is a paradox. It is both incredibly simple and brutally complicated. On one hand, yes, your customer base is massive. From Cairo to Cape Town, people eat bread every single day. It's a non-negotiable part of the daily meal for millions. This isn't a niche market for artisanal gluten-free activated charcoal sourdough that costs more than your Wi-Fi bill. This is bread. It's essential. That massive built-in demand is the golden promise that keeps the dream alive for aspiring bakers across the continent, making them believe that success is just one good recipe away. But on the other hand, you're not the only one who had this brilliant idea. Your competition isn't just the big established bakeries with their fancy logos and delivery trucks. It's also your neighbor, Auntie Florence, who has been baking legendary loaves from her kitchen for 20 years and sells them right from her doorstep. It's the small local baker on the corner whose prices are almost impossibly low. The market is saturated with players big and small, all vying for the same customers. So while everyone wants to eat bread, the real question is, why should they eat your bread? Now for the big question, the one that keeps aspiring entrepreneurs up at night, can you actually make money? Is there profit? Or are you just working for flour-dusted high fives? The answer is a resounding, complicated yes, but it's not a simple gold rush. The profitability of a bread business in Africa is a delicate dance between volume and margin. For most bakeries, especially those serving the mass market, the profit on a single loaf of bread is tiny. We're talking cents, not dollars. In places like Kenya or Ghana after you've paid for flour, yeast, sugar. So, you've decided to jump in. You're ready to get your hands doughy. What do you actually need to start this bread empire? First, let's talk about the essentials, the non-negotiables. You need an oven. This is the heart of your operation. It could be a simple charcoal or wood-fired oven for a small-scale start, or a more sophisticated industrial gas or electric deck oven if you have the capital. Then you need a mixer. Kneading dough for 500 loaves by hand is a great workout, but it's not a sustainable business plan unless you want arms like a heavyweight champion and zero time for anything else. A good quality spiral mixer is a game changer. If starting a bread business was easy, everyone would be doing it. Oh wait, they are. And that's challenge number one: fierce competition. The market is incredibly crowded. You're not just competing with other bakeries, you're competing with centuries of tradition. In many communities, loyalty to a specific bread seller is passed down through generations. Breaking into that kind of established market requires more than just good bread. It requires a strategy. Challenge number two is the roller coaster ride of operational costs. The price of your key ingredients, especially flour and sugar, can fluctuate wildly based on global commodity markets, import tariffs, and local supply chain issues. One month, a bag of flour costs X, and the next, it's X plus 20%. While the market for the standard white loaf is crowded, the African bread market is far from one-dimensional. There are incredible, often overlooked opportunities for those willing to think outside the bread box. The first hidden gem is specialization. As the middle class grows across the continent, so does the demand for variety and healthier options. People in cities like Kigali and Accra are now looking for more than just a simple sandwich loaf. Another massive, and I mean massive, opportunity lies in the B2B or business-to-business market. Instead of selling one loaf at a time to individual customers, think about selling 100 loaves at a time to other businesses. I'm talking about supplying bread to hotels, restaurants, schools, hospitals, and corporate canteens. So you've weighed the pros and cons, and you're still determined to become a bread boss. Fantastic! Here is some practical advice, a baker's dozen of tips to help you navigate the journey. First and foremost, start small. Don't go into massive debt to build your dream bakery from day one. Start with what you can afford, prove your concept, build a customer base, and then scale up. Second, become obsessed with your numbers. Know your exact cost per loaf. Third, focus on a niche. Don't try to be everything to everyone. Be the best at one thing. Fourth, build relationships, not just a customer list. Talk to your customers. Ask for feedback. Fifth, never ever compromise on quality. Your reputation is your everything. 11th, be resilient. And finally, the 13th tip, always be learning. At the end of the day, the bread business in Africa is not a myth or a fairy tale. It's a real, tangible, and demanding enterprise. It's a business that can be incredibly rewarding, but it doesn't hand out success on a silver platter. You are not just selling a product, you are contributing to your community in a fundamental way. There is a profound sense of purpose in that. You are creating jobs, however few, and you are building a legacy, one loaf at a time. This is the intangible profit that doesn't show up on a spreadsheet. So if you are considering this path, go into it with your eyes wide open. The continent is rising, and with it, a new generation of consumers hungry for quality, variety, and authenticity. There has never been a better time to build a brand that stands for something good. So roll up your sleeves, fire up that oven, and get ready to rise. Africa is hungry for what you have to bake. Now go on and get that bread.